Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 14th. Hold on, I got the folder. Yep, 14th episode of the SWW show. This is post GDEX
Oh, yes. Yes, it
episode.
is.
Um, so, yeah, I guess we can kind of talk about some of the stuff we saw there now
Yeah,
in more detail.
we didn't record an episode when we left Sunday.
Right.
So post us recording at that point, Saturday night we went to that party. We met some people there. Some interesting characters, I'll call them.
Yeah,
best
that's a good description.
best way to put it. Um
Yep.
then Sunday we kind of walked the show floor a bit, did our panel. Yeah. You want to start there maybe? Panel?
Yeah, there were three more people than I thought were going to show up.
Which, to be fair, I'm gonna honestly say it too, and I'm not saying it's an audience thing. I think by the end of the panel, we had a flow going that I think I'll be more confident doing future panels.
Yeah, and like at least for me, when I do public stuff, the more people, the faster I hit that.
Oh yeah, I think it was we were trying to find. Also, this is the first time we did something like that too, which I think is part of it.
Yeah, and the whole like we couldn't figure out the audio. The projector apparently had audio, but it was quiet. So we tried to play it off my laptop speakers, which
Has a whole set of problems.
yeah. But yeah, it felt like a good panel.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't
I thought I
too
thought it could
surprised.
go worse. It could have objectively gone worse.
Oh, it could have gone way worse for sure.
So that's why I feel okay on that one. We didn't get to record it because AJ didn't feel like doing that.
Just logistically, it would have been
Also, yeah,
tough.
I agree with you. Logistically, I don't think it would have worked super well anyway. Um,
No.
but yeah, as that happened, we hung around the show floor for a couple hours on then. So then after that, so what happened is we left, right?
Yep.
You dropped me off in Toledo, Ohio, and you went back to Grand Rapids area.
Mhm.
This hotel I stayed at, AJ, you saw it from the outside.
Yeah.
I was suspicious when I walked in, and there was a person who was the front desk person in the hotel,
Mhm.
and was talking to just an old man in a wheelchair who apparently just hangs out there. Was my first step of the quality of this hotel.
So did they give you a key card like we had in Columbus or a real key?
No, it was still a key card. It was still a key card, so I'm not super concerned there. Except I walked in. So, you have the desk there. I sat down to my laptop.
Mhm.
Sat down on some Cheetos because I didn't see them.
Nice.
So, and not in a bag of Cheetos, by the way. Just Cheetos.
Okay.
The best way to put this. So the next morning, I asked the shuttle to take us to the airport, right? So there's two of us who had to go.
Mhm.
Do you know what the shuttle was?
His car.
Not just his car. The only front desk person, they put a sign up that says, "At the airport, BRB," is what the sign says they put up when you go in their car. Oh, fucking damn it.
I mean, how long was your shuttle ride? You were basically on the airport.
I think about 30 seconds. Like, not a joke. It was enough where if I didn't have to walk, I wasn't going to walk, to be fair. But it was
Yeah.
still like, no, actual driving time was nothing.
Did they even have a pre-check at Toledo?
No. Well, technically yes, but it was kind of like what they do at my airport, where they just kind of alternate between pre-check and not pre-check people. We were the first flight out of like 5 flights in that day or whatever the hell it was, so it wasn't really that concerned. The airport didn't open until an hour and a half for my flight.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask about pre-check is like in Grand Rapids, if you leave early enough, it's just not open.
Yeah. So what my airport does here, the same thing that they did there is that if you have pre-check, there's literally it's one TSA person, and they just have a pre-check and non-pre-check line, and they just alternate you.
Yeah.
So that just gets you through it faster. You have to go through the full security scan.
I think you still have to, at least in Grand Rapids, you still like when pre-check is closed, you still go through the scanner,
You still go through the
body
scanner, but it's quicker to go through the like checking the ticket part of security, which makes the rest of the process quicker. Because if there's 2 people in this line and 10 people in this line, if you're in the 2-person line,
Oh,
you go
they
through
don't even
quicker.
have like the just pre-check line is closed.
Oh no, what they do is
Like they just have it shut
they just
off.
have it go through the same person for us.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, this is what I have to give the Toledo airport holy shit level of impression here, right? So they had one thing open, which, to be fair, small airport, 5 in the morning, I expect as much, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect this place to be part Subway, part coffee house, part Pizza Hut, and be one person running all of it. And for the record, they were separate units that you had to go to individual cash registers if you want to buy stuff from different objects.
Hmm.
Like, who designed this?
Yeah. That's weird.
So it would be like
I
atrocious.
genuinely wonder if the Toledo airport is the way it is because it looked like it was the airbase as well.
That could be. That's my airport down here is technically owned by the airbase.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just like they kind of have an airport because I guess there's an airbase, so you may as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, like, your next closest airport is Cleveland.
Which is a good chunk away.
Yeah, it's over an hour drive without traffic. Or Detroit, which is 2 hours
Is Detroit really only 2 hours away from there?
from Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, to the airport. The airport's a little kind of northwest
But
of
that's like
Detroit.
how the Toledo airport was like west of Toledo or whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let me zoom out. Over here. Yeah, I mean, like, Toledo is basically the state line.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then you just take 75 north. And, go to 275, and then you're at DTW.
Nice. Okay. But yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't really talk then. I assume the rest of your 2 hour and a half drive was okay to get back?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful.
No one died on the road, nothing like that?
Not that I know of.
Okay, good. So I wrote down stuff I've played or watched since we last talked. I think the most important one we need to talk about, AJ, is I had to drive all the way out to Destin, which I had to go on the tollway. It was a whole big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched the Jay and Silent Bob double feature, brought to you by Fandango.
What's going on there, bud? Sounds like the police are coming to get you.
It's every time, I feel like. So yeah.
So Toledo to Cleveland is just 2 hours.
Okay. So yeah, so Jay and Silent Bob double feature, right? So I started with, it was a 3.5 hour screening process, right? Because it was, first you watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is the 2001 film, right? Then
Mhm.
they did a 15-minute, like, Kevin Smith video, he talked about the film. Then you go into Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is the reboot of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That was the premiere of it.
That's what they did for Super Troopers when I saw
Okay.
the double feature.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Super Troopers 1, which started at 4:20,
Of course it did.
because of course. And then it was like a 15-20 minute intermission.
Oh, we didn't get that.
Well, like where the Kevin Smith video was.
That would be, yeah.
Like, we just didn't have anything.
So what I liked about the Kevin Smith videos, though, he had a timer on the corner of the screen, so you knew how long you had. Which was real nice if you had to pee.
Yeah.
Because I was, you'd be real stressed walking out, kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay, so they had James Silent Bob Super Groovy. They didn't show the Super Groovy cartoon movie.
No, they did not. They just showed the original, because this is the reboot of the movie. So they showed the original movie,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna say the original movie, not one of Kevin Smith's best work, not his worst work, not one of his best, right?
Oh, Strike Back is a bad movie.
It's okay. It has Kevin Smith charm at points. There are other points where it's cringy as fuck.
You wanna know my hot take?
Oh God. There's not a good Kevin
Kevin
Smith movie.
Smith only has 2 good movies.
Is it Clerks 1 and Clerks 2?
No.
What is it?
Clerks and Dogma.
You don't like Mallrats?
I would put Mallrats like right below that tier.
Because you gotta admit, Mallrats, you could say there are problems with it, and I'll agree with you. It is a very entertaining film.
Oh, it's entertaining. It's not a good movie.
But, like, to me, it's like, and I think Dogma's in the same chain for me. It's like, Dogma, Clerks 1, Clerks 2, Mallrats, I think are the echelon of his films.
Like, Clerks and Robert Rodriguez's first movie. What was it called?
Then is it the black and white film?
Yeah.
God, I can picture it in my head too. The one starring like Jessica Alba. And yeah.
No,
oh.
not Sin City.
Not
Sin City was like after.
What's his first movie?
Robert Rodriguez. Let's pull up his name. El Mariachi. That's what it's called.
Okay.
That was his first movie. Like, El Mariachi and Clerks are like the 2 movies that people point to of kind of the last
indies
directors that made it from an indie.
Then I agree with you on that one. Because Kevin Smith, you could say what you want critiquing him and his quality work. His career is one of the most fascinating things of how he turned this into a career, or like all of this at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like it's very fascinating. He went from a filmmaker all the time to part podcaster, now part TV, part making films. Like what his career is now is very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with this. So I'm not defending Strike Back. I actually really enjoy Reboot, but it's you have to like Kevin Smith humor. It is a higher quality than Strike Back, but it is if you don't like Kevin Smith, you're not gonna like Reboot. Because it's objectively like his greatest. He just found a way to like combine his greatest hits in a less cringy way, which is what Strike Back was originally.
Mhm.
Because like you have people in this film of like Craig Robinson's a judge in this, and his name's like Judge, Jury, Executioner. Get it? Because Jerry, and then Executioner.
Mhm.
Like there's stuff like that in there, but like it's still entertaining. His daughter is like one of the main stars in the film.
Of course she is.
Of course she is, and it's kind of like the joke in the film, obviously. The ending, the third act's very interesting because very publicly, the third act was gonna be about Stan Lee, and then he died a month before filming start. So like it's very interesting him talking about that too, because he's like that third act was supposed to be like about Stan Lee, starring Stan Lee, and he died.
Mhm.
And like so it's like in the credit scene they have it where Kevin Smith approached him and they had it on film of Stan Lee is like agreeing to star in the film, so it's like notoriously this is Stan Lee's final time in a film with new footage, really.
Well, and the like all of his Marvel things.
I think I'm done. I thought that was it. I thought we filmed them all.
But they shot them all like.
Oh yeah.
I think after Age of Ultron.
I thought a little bit after. I thought it was more. I know it was before filming Infinity War and Endgame, but I think it was decently after Age of Ultron. I think it might be at Civil War. I thought it was Civil War-ish is when they filmed them.
They filmed a bunch of them, so it's
right. So this is like newer footage of Stan Lee he actually had in here.
Yeah.
Which is why it's that's why it's kind of like that sad thing in that one too. No, I actually really enjoy this film. It's also just interesting going to like a double feature because like the audience you knew gets the humor, so like it's a very skewed audience. And the way they're promoting this film is very interesting. They're doing it what they call a road show, where they're literally going town to town, and then when they go to a town to premiere the film, that's when that town is then getting the film.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that idea.
I'm not either, but I bet you it's from a box office point of view, helping his numbers a lot better than his recent films have.
Well, what's his most recent?
Tusk, I think.
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up his. Is it just the Fathom Events? Is the roadshow?
Maybe.
Nope.
No, it's different. It's called like Jay and Silent Bob Roadshow or something. It's Reboot Roadshow, I think.
Reboot Tour.
That's it.
Kevin Smith, IMDb. He was born in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay, so perspective. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot so far has made $1.3 million, and it's in something absurd like 7 towns. Currently. Its budget estimate is $10 million.
Yeah. Director. So, okay. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob.
Clerks 2
Jersey
was...
Girl, Clerks 2. Okay, Zack and Miri Make a Porno is a good movie.
It's not Kevin Smith exclusive, though. That's what's interesting. That one's like he wrote, I think.
No, he's the director.
Oh, that's the only... I think that's the director movie he didn't write. That and Cop Out. I think are the two like that.
Which is his next movie, then Red State, then Tusk, then Yoga Hosers.
Oh, I'm sorry, then Yoga Hosers. Now this.
What is Yoga Hosers?
That's the one starring all of his daughter and her friends.
Lily Rose Depp, Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And yes, Depp is in Depp.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Um,
Also, the reason Reboot's a big deal too.
Adam Brody.
The reason
Harley Mortensen.
I was gonna say Reboot's a big deal because it's the first time he has Ben Affleck and Matt Damon since like 2001 in a film or whatever it is.
Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Okay. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot tour. Reboot presented by Audible. No.
I think it's all.
Reboot Roadshow.
I think it's already been in Detroit. I could be wrong. I know it's been in Chicago already.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Their website is terrible.
Oh, I'm not defending it, but
Like, I can't find... There's nothing to click that says, like, hey, here's the list of cities.
roadshow schedule.
It's like t-shirt, toys, and more. Like, buy merch.
Oh God, this website's actually atrocious.
Yeah. Announces... Okay. Additional dates into 2020.
No, it's going for a while.
Okay, October 22nd. Oh. They had it at the Fillmore in Detroit and 20 Monroe Live and Grand Rapids.
Is that...
That's cool.
Are those good places, I take it?
So the Fillmore is like... Okay.
I've heard of the Fillmore. To put you in perspective, I have heard of the Fillmore.
Okay, so backstory on the Fillmore. Fillmore District in San Francisco is named after the Fillmore Theater.
Oh, okay, so it's a big deal.
In San Francisco. They then went and kind of like made it a chain almost. But it's very exclusive, specific theaters. So like the Fillmore in Detroit is a great theater. It's not the Fox Theater by any stretch of the imagination.
But it's a nice theater.
It's a nice theater. It's pretty small. 20 Monroe Live in Grand Rapids is owned by the Fillmore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of their like, okay, we're, expanding a little bit. Let's see, Orlando, Tampa.
This is why also I think by time we talk about the end, he will have made his money back on this film because like we're at like 1.5 million now and we've seen relatively few towns open and they make a good chunk of money the night they open.
Well, but here's the thing, right? Like if the movie costs $10 million to make,
I wonder if
this tour is probably $5 million.
I don't think this tour. You really think they're paying Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith to drive around the country? I don't think that costs you $5 million.
Well, but in terms of like, okay, they gotta stay in hotels. They gotta like, okay, here's the perfect example, right? Like October 23rd, they were in Grand Rapids. The 25th, they're in Riverside, Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Then they go to St. Paul, Minnesota. Like they're flying. They're clearly flying.
But I wonder though. You probably
do. They go
do.
St. Paul, then St. Louis.
Do you know he's probably tying it to other podcasts to minimize costs.
I don't know. And then okay, so he goes. This is the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. 25th, Riverside, Iowa. 26th, St. Paul, Minnesota. 26th. Oh, they had double dates there. 27th, St. Louis. 28th, Columbus. Like, he is clearly flying. They're not driving.
Oh yeah.
Then the 30th, they're in Houston. Then the 31st, in San... Like, there's just the stretch they would have to make. They have to fly.
And that's true. I'm just thinking though, and maybe we're gonna get the possibility then. I think it's a very interesting way to release a film, and I'm curious 2 years from now when we get to see more numbers what this looked like.
It's either going to be a success or people are going to look at it and go, that was stupid.
But it's also Kevin Smith, so like he's kind of putting his podcasting it like that he's kind of using his way he's made a career to market this film, which is what makes it interesting.
Here's the thing though. This is coming from somebody that is in the film industry myself, or at least was for a good couple of years, but is kind of like out of the comic. Like, I never got into comics.
Yeah.
Which Kevin Smith is very clearly like, his audience are comic book fans.
Oh yeah. Like
There's very few people that like Kevin Smith that are like, oh, I'm gonna go see,
Mallrats' entire plot line is about comic books. Like, we all agree.
Yeah. So, what's the, how big it really is his audience?
I bet you it's decently
Like,
big.
that's got to be a die-hard audience.
No, it's diehard, but I bet you it's decently big.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
I mean, okay, Toronto, Montreal, big cities.
Mm-hmm.
Fargo, North Dakota,
Small city.
small city. How many Kevin Smith fans are there?
But what does that really cost to send them there for a weekend?
Yeah.
$3,000? Like you can probably make $3,000 if you do a special screening
Well,
like this.
and I'm noticing he's going to a lot of, historical theaters.
Right, so there's a lot of...
So, I mean...
For all we know...
In Fargo, he was playing the Fargo Theater, which is a pretty classy place.
But if anything, I'm saying that you might come up with a strike a deal with those theaters being like, hey, they don't charge you, and then in return, they might get a ton of money from him being there and selling out the theater from concessions.
Maybe. I find it hard that they wouldn't charge him, though.
I find it hard too, but I'm saying you might have, pending the theater location, they might, like if you told a historic film set, you could have someone like Kevin Smith, who gets what you want, will sell out the theater. It might be worth it to them.
Here's the thing. I'm only seeing, 5 places that you can get tickets.
Yeah, I don't know if all tickets are on sale. I don't know how that works.
It doesn't look like it.
Also, the other interesting thing as we wrap up this topic on this film, Saban Films financed it, which I didn't realize was a thing.
Like the Power Rangers
yes,
people?
They made apparently a production company 13 years ago that apparently finances other things. Because its predecessor is Saban Entertainment, which, yes, is Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So, what?
Everybody's owned by Disney now at this point.
Also, this is one of the first Kevin Smith movie that is not Weinstein produced. This might be the second only ever.
Well, that'd be kind of tough to do in this day and age.
But it's interesting because I didn't even process this because when I was watching Strike Back,
Mm-hmm.
it ended with, and a special thanks to Harvey Weinstein who finances all my films. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
Well, you have to remember, say what you will about Harvey Weinstein. Is he a creep? Yes. Did he do terrible things?
Yes.
Did he absolutely love independent cinema?
Yes.
Yes.
And
He is the guy that made so many careers, so many independent movies work. He's a terrible person. His brother's better, from what I've heard.
I haven't heard the same shit as his brother besides he had to sell the company for obvious reasons. That's all I really heard. I haven't heard anything about his brother otherwise.
I think Harvey's brother was more of the money man.
So he probably just went someplace else and hid in a corner.
Yeah.
Which is what I would have
Whereas,
done.
like, Harvey was the producer. Like, he's the one that, produced by the Weinstein Company, Harvey Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
I think his brother was, like, the one that ran TWC.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nice.
it's not as big of a deal for him if he decided to. I forget what his brother's name is. I think it's another H. If he decided to get back into it, he would probably have to change his name. But I mean, you could also do like think about it if I want to say it's Howard.
You think it's Howard Weinstein?
I think it's Harvey and Howard, isn't it?
No, I don't. I was thinking it was like a Matt.
Hold on. Let me pull up Harvey Weinstein's. Bob Weinstein.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Like we were so far out.
Dimension Films is the one. Oh, you know Dimension Films.
I do. Oh, wait, I do.
Yeah.
I get a picture in my head. They did Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Don't you go? You knew the reference. I know it.
Well, the second I saw the logo, I'm like, you know Dimension Films.
The moment you said, I could picture the logo in my head too. Like I could picture that like kind of early 2000s CG logo.
Yeah. Guess who their original parent company was?
Disney.
Well, it wasn't their original, but
Was it not Disney?
nope.
You said of what's the name of the production company again?
Dimension.
Is it like Sony?
Well, okay. So technically, this company was their parent a year before Walt Disney, but that's because Disney bought
The parent.
their parent company. Yeah.
Was it someone stupid like Marvel?
No. Think about, okay, anything Weinstein Company has ever done, what other logo is there?
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty
Miramax.
memorable, yeah.
Okay. Duh. Okay. I
Miramax
was trying to think because yeah, isn't I forgot Weinstein Miramax, so like I forgot who owns who and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Miramax bought
Miramax
Dimension.
did help do Jay and Silent Bob also. I don't know like how the deals all struck, but like they were there too, but not obviously Weinstein.
Well, I think that's because Miramax, I at one point owned the Weinstein Company.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works. All I know is
Hold on.
legally Clerks is a Disney film, which is what Kevin Smith always laughs about.
Okay, here we go. Miramax was founded in '79 by the Weinstein brothers. Before it was acquired in '93. Pulp Fiction is a Disney movie.
Right, because it's yeah, Pulp Fiction is and Clerks are. I don't know when.
No, like Walt Disney Company bought Miramax right before Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
The Weinsteins operated Miramax until '05 when they left and founded the Weinstein Company. Miramax was sold by Disney to Film Yard Holdings. In 2016, it was sold to BN Media Group.
That's very interesting.
I didn't realize they were owned by BN.
Nice. Okay, so that's kind of stuff I've seen. I have a lot of games I've played. Do you want something that you've been playing Destiny 2 a lot, haven't you?
Yeah. I got back into Destiny after their Steam release, which that's been a whole debacle. Did I talk about that?
I don't think I've no, because I saw you play Destiny 2 the other day. I was like, the hell is he doing?
I thought I told you about the whole character transfer debacle. Maybe not.
Yes,
Maybe
you
it's
told me the
something
character
different.
transfer block. That's what you're talking about. I just forgot that.
So the character transfer stuff still doesn't work for me. So I either have to buy Forsaken or just deal with it. I'm just gonna deal with it. Also, it recognizes on the Bungie site that I'm in a clan,
Mhm.
but then I go into Destiny and my Steam character is not in a clan.
Interesting.
So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, it's just Destiny 2.
So, what are you doing then in Destiny? I know you're playing. Are you playing the campaign? You playing expansions? Like, what are you doing?
So like right now I'm playing through the Shadowkeep, which is the new expansion.
Okay. I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's all right. It's kind of cool what they did to the moon. Um, and actually what they did in terms of the new like thing,
Mhm.
they put everywhere. So that's really cool. It's a lot like what was it, The Taken, where they'll show up anywhere.
The Liam Neeson film?
No,
Oh.
the
Destiny yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They had
The Taken
they had the
King.
weird like remixes of all that Vax or whatever in the Taken. No, I'm thinking Taken King, right? Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah, Taken
Okay,
King.
I'm not crazy.
Um,
Like, wait a
yeah.
second.
Well, and it's not just the Vex. Sometimes there's
The other ones, yeah. But I'm just
Cabal.
I could picture that. I was like, it was the ideal was they were taken by this external force kind of thing, and the Hive,
Yeah,
or not the there's some king or whatever.
it's the Vex that, or not the Vex, the Cabal that are taken.
You would, yeah. Again, I like Destiny. I understand playing it. I can't tell you a shit that happened to you a couple years later. Or names.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you names.
I can tell you all the enemies.
Okay, Vex,
Yep.
Cabal,
Yep.
and the other guys. The husk guy looking fuckers. I don't know their names.
The Hive.
The Hive, okay. You think that'd be the one I would notice?
Then there's the Fallen.
Hmm.
Then there's the Taken. And I guess technically what they introduced in Shadowkeep isn't a new enemy type
Okay.
per se.
Per se.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets weird because like the Taken are clearly different Cabal,
But it's the same.
whereas I mean they're the same models, but they're like the weird black, like void, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the things they added in Shadowkeep just kind of have this aura around them that separates them,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be any type. So it's Destiny. It's fun.
Okay.
It's the best loot shooter out there.
Schluter. Schluter's the term you're looking for.
Also, I can guarantee the grind in Destiny 2 is better than the grind in Borderlands 3.
I don't know if I agree with you on that. Why do you say that? I'm curious.
Well, I can tell you, I played Borderlands 2, and if it's anything like Borderlands 2, you're constantly picking up just dog shit.
And Destiny 2 balanced itself to do the, like... Isn't Destiny 2
Well,
balanced for the continual upgrades? They, like, don't give you two scatter shots?
Yeah, so, like, until you hit one of the caps, you're getting better and better gear.
Borderlands 3, I think they're actually... I think on the back end might be doing something similar, because I've noticed less so of the Borderlands 2 problem.
But, like, if, for instance, you just picked up, a bunch of guns, they could be worse. You have to go back to some place to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in D2, you can just dismantle from your character screen.
That's true.
So, like, if you pick up something that's dog shit, you can just quick dismantle it, which is where I'm at now because I'm over the 900 cap.
Which is that the soft cap until...
That's the soft cap for like just open world.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to get powerful gear, and that will drop where I'm at or higher.
Okay.
The tough part is they have the artifact for the season
Mm-hmm.
gives you a power boost. So like I think my character is a 914 or 15 light level, but he's got like a +6 power rating from his artifact. So like if I look on my character screen, I'm 920 something, but all the gear that's dropping is like 913.
Okay.
So I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to upgrade just from the open world. I have to go and grind out powerful gear,
Okay.
which isn't an issue. It's pretty easy to do.
So you're gonna say you like Destiny 2?
Yeah, I've always liked Destiny 2.
Nice. So the next thing I've been playing, so yesterday from when we were recording this, Outer Worlds came out.
Yep.
So I started playing that.
Not the game I would have bought, but
Oh, because it was between that and Call of Duty is when I was jumping between. I bought Outer Worlds because I've been having that Fallout itch I needed fixed, and this game is literally, after playing it for a bit, BioShock meets like Fallout. So it's a perfect game for me in that scenario. I really
also they got gifted their PR campaign.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, I was watching videos of them talk of like I forgot who I think it was Game Info was doing an interview and the developers, and they're like, so when Fallout 76 happened, the guy just looked at him and said it was a miracle.
Well, all they had to do was say, our game works.
No, because if you remember it, what happened is Fallout 76 debacle happened, and then literally they walk on the Game Awards stage, and it's like from the original creators of Fallout and the developers of Fallout New Vegas, which everyone defines like New Vegas. New Vegas and 3 is people define as the best two modern Fallout games, obviously, and New Vegas is like the cult classic one, especially after 76. Everyone's like, oh right, those people.
Yeah.
So like they were given.
Yeah, they got gifted a PR campaign. It's ridiculous.
Oh, they did. I stick with.
I can't think of okay. What other game would have been gifted a PR campaign like this?
I don't know if there is there anything tied to like Mass Effect 3 and another Choice game coming out, anything like those lines. So I'm trying to think of like big events that could have led to something like that.
I mean, probably the biggest one was the PS4 launch.
Oh yeah, obviously it's the PS4 with the Xbox. Because the best, as we saw in person, was that video of sharing games.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got the story from the source of how it happened.
I love that so much. But back onto Outer Worlds for a second. Outer Worlds, I really enjoy. I'm gonna give it the props which you'll be in shock about. It works, unlike there's no actual like Fallout level bugs in this game that I've seen.
I kind of hoped there wouldn't have been.
Right. So one of the negatives, or positives, depending who you ask, is it's not as open as like Fallout games are. So that's why I think the BioShock comparison is very apt. It's that level of openness of like you can't pick everything up, but like there's a good chunk of stuff in every room you can pick up with how the enemies spawn. It still has the very Obsidian style, Fallout RPG style of like the comedy in the here, how you do dialogue choices, the decisions actually matter. The shooting actually is surprisingly good for an RPG first. I was concerned about that, but they found a way to like make not VATS and actually make shooting that's fun.
Pretty easy to do.
It is, but like obviously like Fallout for example is the notorious comparison of shooting that like a shooter that shooting sucked in. So
I mean, like RPGs and shooters. The problem is
it's if you do a shooter first and RPG first. It comes down to a lot of time.
Yeah.
What is your priority?
Yeah, if your priority is the RPG, which to me at least would be the easiest part, so it wouldn't be my priority.
Easiest part's a relative term, but okay.
Well, like, it's easy to do a story. Like, it's pretty easy to...
I don't know if, again, easy is not a term I like to use there, but go on. It's easy.
Well, in comparison to, like, making a good shooter is very difficult.
So the way I'll give easy to you is it's easier in an engine, but out of engine it's still really hard.
Yeah.
Like writing and figure
Well,
out branching stuff, like that's not easy objectively.
no, but in terms of like, you can have writers and they can write like, so you can find people that like to write outside of the games world, and therefore make an RPG easier on like from the creation end.
Okay.
Whereas like, if you're gonna create a shooter, it's tough because shooters are extremely popular, and the best one year after year, except for maybe.
No, even its off years, it's probably still the best feeling shooter. I'm still gonna give it to it.
Mm,
It feels. You could say if you don't like the theme or whatever. If I just blindly said, "How does this game feel?" Call of Duty might objectively win every year.
well, no, like Ghost apparently had some issues. Advanced Warfare wasn't that great.
But again, I think these complaints, though, I don't know. The issue with these complaints, I think, are the most valid complaints of any Call of Duty in a year is it feels similar to the year before. But in isolation, it's the best feeling shooter of the year.
No, well, yeah, okay, but like Advanced Warfare, the shooting wasn't that great because it almost felt like they focused too much on the
Max.
jump packs. No, Advanced Warfare was the first year of the exosuits,
Okay, that's what it was.
so it felt like they focused a little too hard on that, and kind of the shooting hurt because of it.
But in general, okay, maybe you could give me such, but I think as a broad rule of thumb, the best Call of Duty complaints are it's the same as the year before, not that they feel bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you have a Call of Duty game and the complaint you hear the most is, oh, it feels like the last one.
Right, that's not a complaint. Like, objectively, that's not a
As
complaint.
as long as the last game isn't Ghost, which took way too long to kill somebody, or Advanced Warfare, which just felt a little too floaty.
But the rest of them, like any
you're
Black Ops, any Modern Warfare, even Infinite Warfare, like any of these games, I go, they feel great to play. That's not the issue.
Yeah. Black Ops 3, terrible game. The jump packs, the exosuits were terrible.
But it
multiplayer.
feels
The
great.
shooting
Feels great.
felt great.
Actually, I don't hate the abilities in Call of Duty in Black Ops 3. I don't love them, but I don't think they're the worst thing in the world. It was an interesting twist.
Yeah. I will say it looks like, by all accounts, the Modern Warfare reboot,
Hmm.
the shooting appears to have taken Battlefield influences.
Which I don't know if is a bad thing.
No, like Battlefield 4 is probably the best multiplayer shooter ever created.
I haven't played enough to give an argument anyway.
Just because, like, well, okay, first off, it's modern weapons. The vehicles are great. The maps are pretty good. The shooting just feels right. Like, it feels, when you get a headshot, it feels good. And when you know if you missed a sniper shot, like, you're like, oh shit, gotta aim up, gotta aim left, gotta aim right. Stuff like that. And just everything feels so good playing Battlefield 4.
Hmm.
Whereas Battlefield 1, terrible. Battlefield 5 is getting better. It's also, what, 2 years old? Or a year old at least, a year and a half old. I think this December is its 2-year anniversary, isn't it?
That sounds right.
Battlefield 5? AFE. They are just releasing the Pacific update. Release date September 2018. Or, sorry, November 2018. So it'll be a year. Man, this has been a long year.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah. That's what I said. October 31st, Chapter 5, War in the Pacific, which brings amphibious assaults and all-out warfare across iconic battlefields, with the U.S. and Japan in it. So this will be the introduction of the Japanese. Yeah, like Battlefield 5 just feels rough.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I can really point to of why it feels rough, but it just feels rough. Um, and Modern Warfare, just from a graphics point of view, it looks like Battlefield 4 on a PC.
Which, again, not exactly a complaint.
No, I mean, Battlefield 4 is one of the best looking games.
Still.
I'm not going to say of all time,
But it's still
but
up there.
in terms of like that game was a launch on the PS4.
Which is... Wasn't that the one that was a notoriously rough launch? Like, atrocious launch, I thought?
It had a rough launch.
Okay.
Um, if you go back to that, still looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Still plays good. If you were to go back to, I think Advanced Warfare was the launch, or maybe it was Ghost on Xbox One and PS4. Doesn't look that great. Doesn't play that great. Like, so Call of Duty has definitely improved,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Battlefield has stayed stagnant or declined. But yeah, I mean, like, that proves that making a shooter is tough because there's really only two.
And then we have our exceptions every couple years, like Doom or Titanfall, that blow everyone out of the water.
Doom's pretty easy though. Like, the shooting of Doom, if you think about it, is just straight out of the original Doom.
It is, but I'm gonna stick with
There's
modernizing
no
it.
bullet drop.
Modernizing
There's no, like,
it takes a lot of work to making it feel right in a modern context, feel like a modern game, not you remaking an old game.
yeah, that's true. Titanfall is ex Call of Duty guy, so it makes sense.
It is.
Uh,
Apex, which I've been playing a lot recently too, I still think feels a lot like Titanfall when it comes to shooting, which is why we like it.
I wonder why.
That's almost like it's the same team or something.
I was gonna say it's probably because it's the people that created Titanfall.
It still blows my mind that Apex is on Source. Like, that still blows my mind.
also the only reason that it's 60 players
That's true. But like,
because Source can't take more than 60.
if you think about it, like, their other games are in Unreal. Oh, they also have Frostbite because they're EA now. They're in Source.
No, Titanfall was Source.
No, but the new games are Unreal. Star Wars is Unreal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think the Medal of Honor, which they announced as the VR game, I think is also Unreal.
Are they doing a VR Metal?
Oh yeah, so they've been secretly doing an Oculus VR game for the last 3 years and didn't announce it until a couple weeks ago, and it was Medal of Honor VR. That's all we know about it.
You want to know who fucked up big time?
Who?
The creators of Medal of Honor.
Because you know the story. Isn't Call of Duty a spin-off of Medal of Honor, guys?
Yes.
That's what I thought it was. I thought that was the fight. Then Call of Duty devs split off because of something with money, and they made Infinity. No, they made Treyarch, I think, or Infinity Ward. Did Call of Duty.
Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity Ward. Then Infinity Ward left because they didn't get payment issues. I think it was all Vincent Bella. I think he's the chain between all three.
Like Medal of Honor, the reboot, the Tier 1, the Beards, was the first, like, I think it came out just before Battlefield 4, of, like, the first realistic-looking modern shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the thing that they did for Warfighter,
Mm-hmm.
which was the second one, which for whatever reason bombed, shouldn't have, it's a great game.
Isn't that the one with all of the explosions to get into doors? The 50 ways to get into doors.
Maybe?
Because I remember one of
There
the
is-
Medal of
I
Honors
can't remember.
had all of the different ways you could explode a door.
Yeah, I think it started in the reboot, and then they brought it into Warfighter,
Okay.
where the more doors you breached, the different ways you could do it.
Which you know, some designer like pitches in a meeting, like half drunk, was like, "Hear me out. We have an exploding door mechanic that gets better."
I mean, like, you don't start blowing up doors until the last few.
But like, it's on paper. Why would you spend time on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It gives you a,
Oh no, I'm not against it, but I don't know who approved of that.
Yeah. Um, but like Warfighter had this really cool thing where it's almost a predecessor to like Siege and I guess Black Ops 3,
Mm-hmm.
where different characters had different abilities.
Hmm.
So like the JTF2 guys from Canada had different abilities from the SEAL guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like different loadouts, like they could carry different things and stuff like that. So you had to build kind of around your, the tier one that you chose. And as such, like the SEALs had, basically the guns you see in a lot of games now. Whereas the Japanese guys had like just Japanese brands.
Hmm.
They didn't necessarily have all of the stuff that the SEALs had. And like they had signed deals with the manufacturers. So like an M4 wasn't just the M4A1, it was the Colt M4. It was the Macmillan sniper rifles. Like, so they had, the deals and everything put in place where you could, you know, go, oh, like this is a real gun. Like, not just, oh, it looks real or it's an M4. Like, this is the Colt M4. This is the Silencer Co. Silencer. This is a, who's the Trijicon ACOG. Here's a Magpul stock, the magazine, the foregrip. Like, so they had signed deals with everybody. So in reality, you could have gone out and bought the gun that you're using.
Huh.
It would have cost a lot. It would have cost thousands and thousands of dollars, but
No,
you could have done
I
it.
live in Florida. You get them like candy.
No, like a Colt M4 civilian one is I think $600. Like the cheapest silencer is from Silencer Co. is like $500 plus a $200 tax stamp, so that's $700. And ACOG's site is a bare minimum of $1,500, and full Magpul hardware, if you didn't get it already on the M4, is probably an additional $400.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at a minimum of what is that, like $3,500?
Nice. So yeah, that was a fun stuff. I'm trying to think what else I played. I said I've been playing Apex a lot. I am officially Silver 2 for the season so far. So I'm slowly getting somewhere.
Yeah, you played Apex when I stopped, which is funny because I played Apex when you weren't.
That is true. I'm enjoying it. I have a couple of the like because you get enough credit over time to get more characters. So I have Mirage, which is the guy that does clones, and I forgot the
I hate his ability. It's just stupid.
Oh. I like it in solo actually a lot more when they had the solo mode because that's how you get people. I also have I forgot her name. It's the girl that does the electric shocks.
Watson.
Yeah, she's interesting. I don't know how to put it. I like the idea of this newest character, Crypto. I think very much so because one of my friends is Crypto. Because he has the drone that basically gives you an endless UAV.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been playing.
I'm glad you got Watson because that was a character I was looking at because I've got enough credits to unlock a DLC character.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Mirage just looks stupid. His ability isn't that great.
It's surprisingly good when you're hiding or at the end of the game. It's not good early game.
And Caustic, I guess if you can control a room,
Oh, that is
is
100%.
great.
So it's Caustic. So the combo right now, which we've been doing early game a lot, is you have a train now on this new map that goes around.
Yeah.
You go in the front of the car while it's driving. You have Caustic up there, barricade the room to death, and then what you do is you have a Wraith portal, because the Wraith portal is static to the world's location, even if it's on a moving object. So you push it back, and if an enemy is chasing to get up to you, you push him off the train. And that works.
And do you die
No,
falling off the train?
no, but it's enough so that like if you're trying to get out of an encounter you can't get out of, they get pushed back. Because what it is how the portal works is you have the one area where it starts at, and then when you release, it's the end of it. But since you're moving forward the entire time, it goes super far back by the time you let go, and then when you let it go, the train moves past it, so if a person's running, they'll hit the portal because they can't avoid it. So they'll be stuck real far back.
So, but like the second end of the portal doesn't stick onto the train, it's
No,
just there.
it's in a static world location. So that's why
So
they'll
it
run
wouldn't
into
help you like get off.
No, but it'll help you'll push the enemies off. Which is the goal in that scenario.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So like it's more of an escape hatch without you leaving the train.
So like you have a wraith, just plop a portal, push the enemies.
Yes. And by the time it pushes them, they're off the train. They're not going to catch up to it. So you have then until the next train stop to figure out what you're doing. Which, depending where you are in the game, those extra 30 seconds could make or break you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so my nephew and mom was over this last week, so I pulled up the PSVR for a bit. So I played some Super Hot VR a bit some more. So I think we played through all of that. And then we played Beat Saber. Beat Saber is still... I'm going to still stick with this. I know Beat Saber is like the popular VR game. Super Hot's still objectively better.
Yeah. Beat Saber's easy though to be like, okay, you have a red, you have a blue.
Hit in the direction.
Blue hits blue, red hits red. The arrow says what direction you need to go.
And then parkour around the walls. That's all the entire game is. Which again,
Whereas, like describing Super Hot to somebody is tough.
I don't know if it's that tough. Enemies move when you move. Grab a gun or a weapon in the world, and every enemy is one hit.
But it's also okay if you take cover. Nothing's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not like they're gonna push up.
It's funny, interesting watching my nephew, because he saw because my trick a lot of times when you're in cover is I just rotate my hand in like a 90-degree rotation to push enemies to you.
Yeah, if you just move your hand back and forth.
So I just twist it until I see bullets or I need to, and then I adjust.
Yeah.
Which is why that's interesting.
It's also a little bit harder for people first time to be like, okay, you need spatial awareness. Because it doesn't tell you, oh, there's somebody spawning in behind.
Which I think part of the fun of that game is figuring out the puzzle in front of you.
And behind you.
Okay, but relative in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fun part is figuring out where enemies are in that location. Like, if it told you, I wonder if it wouldn't be as fun.
No, but it's all the point of like the spawn points don't stop until you clear everyone.
That's true.
So like, you could be standing in a spot, and all of a sudden the spawn point is in a doorway behind you. You don't know, and just get obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
But then you know, so then you just go through it again, and you're ready. Which, Super Hot, I think, is one of the best games at just learn. Just play it, die, okay, you know where everyone is. Go again. And once you get in that groove, that flow, it feels really good. And you're able to just fly through some of those levels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Is anything else that you've been poking at?
MLB The Show, but that's baseball.
Of course it is.
It was kind of odd that they gave away 19. I figured they would have given away 18.
Are you shocked by the announcement that NBA 20 is coming next year?
What do you mean?
That was more of a joke 'cause they announced it like it was. I think it's March next year, like usual.
2K or
No.
EA?
Alright, I said NBA. My bad.
Yeah, NBA
What's
or MLB.
MLB? I don't know. Yeah, that's what. Okay.
I was like NBA, of course.
That's why I
like,
keep staring at you. Like, yeah. MLB. So, yeah. Here's a good question for you because maybe you'll think this through. Do you think when it comes to like the year afters, do they do a double skew again, or do you think they just stick to a gen and run with it?
Well, I have a feeling like for 2021,
Mm-hmm.
it will just be MLB 21. And so on PS4, it will only show up as PS4.
Okay, so you're thinking that's
On PS5, it will only show up as PS5.
because like when it was PS4 came out, PS3 and PS4 were almost different games, was my understanding.
From the MLB side, I don't think they were that different. WWE games were completely different,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was NBA 2K was different.
So speaking of WWE games for a second, have you been following 2020?
Yeah.
How did they make it worse?
You fire the people that knew how to make it work.
Because like I'm never gonna sit here and say any of the games were amazing, right? But the last 2 years or 3 years, decently worked.
Also, you knew you were having problems. Could you not just go back to 19
And just
and bring in the characters?
yeah.
Prime example, Bianca Belair.
I thought the prime example would be The Rock, but okay.
Well, he just looks weird.
That's what I mean. Just bring his old model in.
Yeah. Bianca Belair, they had her entrance for 19. I think she was a DLC character. But they had her entrance, and everything worked fine. The hair worked. It all worked. This year, her... If you don't know who Bianca Belair is, her main feature is that she has this giant braid that's about as long as she is tall. And she'll whip people with it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And her entrance, she comes out and twirls it around in her hand. And so in 19, they had it work. In 20, it's like the hair is rigid. And it's spit like it's got a joint in there that it rotates around.
Mm-hmm.
It looks terrible. So
I still can't process like the bugs you see on this game is just absurd.
yes,
Like I don't understand. Like how can they just not get it right?
again, it's wrong because you fired the people that knew how to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get much easier to explain than, they fired the people that knew how to make it work because they said, "Oh, we're internally trying to make our game better." Like that was the whole point of that, that announcement was, we're working on another wrestling game to make WWE better.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE and 2K were just like, "Nah, you're not working on our game? Get out of here." Like, they had a team working on 2K20. I can almost guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
At, Ukes. But they just took them off. And they're like, "Okay, you guys are gone. You're not working. You're not focusing. Your main focus isn't 2K20. Get out of here. I would have stuck around with them. Let them put out 2K20. Let's see what this internal wrestling game is that is supposedly better. If we like the look of it, go in that direction. It probably wouldn't be 21 that would see all those changes. It'd probably be 22, but still. You at least have two wrestling games coming out, in 20 and 21 that are competent wrestling games. Like, say what you will, Ukes at least made a competent game.
Yeah, they're competent. My argument, it's not like they were amazing games, but they worked. You could play them. You'd have a decent experience.
The only time like you got glitches in those games was when you kind of forced it into a situation.
That is not true. I have totally done it. I have done like where you're doing like a pin and all of a sudden the person just teleports behind me.
Okay, I have had that, but on very, very rare occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you put a bunch of ladders and a bunch of shit in the ring, of course it's gonna break, because how does it handle that? Like, they didn't mocap somebody, laying on a table, and then all of a sudden there's a chair. They didn't mocap them rolling off a table onto a chair. So what do? They probably just like clip into the chair and it freaks out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of glitches that you saw were from created characters or custom characters. Makes sense. Like, you're gonna have troubles if you make a guy, 6'8", and make him, just a beast of a human being, and give him like a Divas entrance. Of course, stuff's gonna fuck up. Like, anytime, that's the thing, right? Like, all of the weird 19 glitches that you saw were people, like, changing entrances or custom characters.
Where now it's just, they exist.
Now it's everything. So, like, of course in 19 there were going to be glitches because people were fucking everything up. Whereas in 20, it's just like, alright, this game's terrible. I mean, the Giant Bomb Quick Look, they mention Wrestling Revolution 3D,
Mm-hmm.
which was a mobile game years ago. They made it into a console game, I think a year or two ago. That is better than 2K20.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that needs to be said.
So it's atrocious.
Yep. Games are fucked up, people.
Games are fucked up. I agree. Other fucked.
Last of Us got pushed
I was gonna say the other fucked up game we need to talk
till
about.
September.
You know what fucked up game this is. So Fallout 76 decided to pull the curtain and decide they're an MMO now with a subscription model. How did that turn out for them, AJ? Would you like to tell the people?
Well, okay. I'm not a Fallout fan, never will be. Never really got into Bethesda games. I think Bethesda is riding high on goodwill from a game that's... How old's the one before Skyrim?
Obsidian? Or 3? Which one are you talking about?
Skyrim... Oblivion.
Oblivion, okay, so I don't know what you're asking.
They're riding high on Oblivion, and that's what, 15 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And people are just like, oh, it's another Bethesda game. Like, peek behind the curtain, guys. The writing's terrible.
I don't know if I agree with you on that one, but okay.
Okay, Fallout 3 had some good stories, but there was some bad writing in 4.
I don't know if I agree with you because it's a certain style. That's part of it too. It literally is a certain comedy style.
Well, not just the comedy. Like, there's just storylines that are just not that good.
Okay, but like that's any game. I don't know, but I don't agree with you on the net quality of the whole game's writing.
Gameplay, pretty bad.
Mm.
I mean, the whole joke about Skyrim is that horses can go up vertical walls, more or less.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Like, the love. Okay. The love that they get for their games is because there are people out there fixing them, modding in like proper movement, or even they modded in the dialogue from Fallout 3, the dialogue tree style, instead of just the whatever they had in 4, just the button prompts.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like the way they streamlined a lot of 4. I think like 3 and New Vegas's options were a lot better there.
Like Fallout 4, I don't think there's a lot of love for 4, but you know, a lot of their games, the love that people get out of them and the enjoyment they get is because they're going on and getting, oh, here's the Fallout 3 bug fix patch.
See, and I don't know if I agree with you at all on that thing because there's enough console people who don't see any of this shit.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, maybe they just worked better on console.
I think there's a charm there that underlined behind the bug is what it is. Like, I really like the theme of them. I think the writing is fine. I like the way you can interact with stuff in them. Like, New Vegas is my prime example, one of my favorite games ever.
Well, that's also not a BGS game.
But it is ran on a BGS engine with the same amount of bugs, so there's something beneath it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the people that created New Vegas were the people that created Fallout.
That's true. But I would say the underlying
So
between all of this though is there is a game there in its foundation that I think is quality between all of the games besides 76, which is the fundamental problem with it. And also I think 76, the other big problem, which I think we both agree is they grabbed the piece that no one cared about in the Fallout games, which is the base building, and then added online to it, which is the problem. When you hear people talk about what they like about Fallout games, it is not the building your home.
Right.
So you remove any
Also,
of the stuff that is the writing, or the quests, or the NPCs that people cared about in some capacity.
If you had labeled 76 as a early access game,
You'd believe it.
look at the success that like DayZ or Rust or
Any of those had.
any of those survival games. In fact, they're still all early access. I think DayZ is finally official.
DayZ's official, but like Rust, I think is still early access. I think you're right.
Yeah, so if you had just thrown the early access tag on this, probably 85% of this game would have been, I'm not going to say redeemable,
But have been
but understandable.
yeah.
Like, oh, of course there's not NPCs because it's early access.
Mm-hmm.
Or, of course, the whatever isn't that great because early access.
And also, I think the thing with them, which is part of it, is people who like those games, which obviously is not you, accept a certain amount of bugginess in the final thing, but this was beyond the norm.
Well, okay, that's my biggest problem. There are numerous games out there that work perfectly fine, that have no, like, you're not going to interact with a bug every time you start the game.
Mm-hmm.
Best example, any Call of Duty game. You're never going to run into bugs. Or if you do, like, they're probably game breaking in the sense that, like, the game's going to crash.
Mm-hmm.
Because something weird happened.
Right.
And so its default is just, oh, this shouldn't be happening, kill the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just, if you have to accept, like, if you have to go into a game and go, oh, well, I know there's going to be this bug, this bug, this bug, this bug. If you can say, oh, this is a Fallout game, it's going to have this list of bugs, why are you playing that
See,
game?
and I disagree with you completely because I think there's the underlying quality in the thing beyond the bugs, which is what makes it acceptable. And this is where we
That's
this is where we
fine,
disagree
but
on
if you have
that.
to go in, if you have to go into a game and go like, shit's gonna break, but when it works, it's good.
See,
Like,
and the reason I disagree with you is because I think it's beyond good when it works, and I think that's where the forgiveness comes from.
well, okay, take the term out of it, but like, whatever term you want to use works. Like, if it's gonna break, but if it isn't broken, you're like, this is really good. But you're eventually going to run into something that makes it break. You just know. Like, this was our panel at GDEX.
Mm-hmm.
Finding enjoyment in the bad stuff. I just can't do that in Fallout games.
See, and to me, and I think is where we disagree fundamentally is the line of percentage that is bad stuff is I think probably where we disagree on.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably part of it.
I think you can tell through the games that I've played. I do not accept broken shit.
Right, and I think, but also I bet you there's stuff because I don't have it on top of my head to nitpick enough. I bet you there's stuff that in games that you really enjoy that I would define as either broken or whatever, and you go, but it's so low percentage or whatever, or the underlying thing is so good. And I think that's what Fallout is to me.
You would have to dig because I can't think of. Even I can't think of any game that I would point to and be like, oh, this game's really broken, but. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fallout 76 is a goddamn dumpster fire that started the California wildfires.
It's not even built in California. It's built in Texas.
Still, it's a dumpster fire that started the fires in California. So what, before the subscription, they delayed, like, the NPCs, didn't they?
So the NPCs were supposed to be out, like, around now, are now coming out mid-2020.
So basically an entire year.
Which the NPCs were supposed to be the big selling point of, like, okay, now it's a Fallout game. Which, if they could at least get to that point, probably gives Fallout 76 enough legs to stand on. You could just make this into a true Fallout game, you at least have something better to tap into.
That will have been, what, 3 years after it released?
No, 76 is 18.
18?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 years.
Oh, I'm not defending the timing in the slightest.
2 years after a game released as a quote-unquote finished game, before you're like, oh yeah, it's a game now.
Oh, again, you don't hear me defending that at all. I'm just saying, though, if we're talking about, like, a way to at least give it better legs, which is what it needs to sustain in the long term.
This game isn't going to sustain. Like,
I'm shocked it's still here.
Who's going to be playing it in 2 years?
I have definitely heard things, though, at least when it was supposed to come out this year, where the idea of NPCs has gotten a lot of Fallout fans who did not want to go into 76 at least be willing to give it a chance.
Okay. Will they wait another year?
I don't know on that one. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying I've definitely heard that, like, if it came out in this fall like it was supposed to, I think it probably would have given it a decent chance of getting a boost. Whether that boost stayed was a different question, but I think it would have given it a boost.
Okay. Anyway, so they delayed all that a year.
Mm-hmm.
A huge update that was supposed to change the game and apparently make it a game.
Sure, we'll go with that. I think that's probably a good way of putting it.
Gets delayed an entire year.
Uh-huh.
And then they have the balls. Like, this is almost Randy Pitchford level balls. To launch a subscription service that is $100 a year.
Wait, I have the entire thing in front of me if you want to hear it.
That is supposedly private servers, which aren't private. What else did it give you?
I'm pulling it up right now. I'm on the website. Okay. Fallout 76 member benefits. Oh, Fallout First membership benefits. Let me get the phrasing right, okay?
Which they didn't register Fallout First, so if you go to falloutfirst.com, it's Fallout fuck you.
Okay, so you get private worlds, which play in a private world exclusive for you and up to 7 friends. Learn more below.
Apparently, they're not private.
Scrapbox. This is the thing that broke the game, by the way. Unlimited storage for crafting components in your new Scrapbox container, which, by the way, when people got, it wiped their inventory. And they have said they probably can't get it back.
Well, okay, and also apparently the worlds that these are spinning up are just reused worlds because people were hopping in and finding like places already looted and things dead. Like,
Okay, next, you get a survival tent, which is a new placeable fast travel point.
oh boy, $14 a month for a fucking tent.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Atoms, so you receive 1,600 in atoms per month, which probably on paper, in theory, if you actually paid that, might pay for it. I don't know the transaction rate on top of my head, but that sounds within
1600.
1650 to be exact.
1650. They gave away 500 for the bags,
Right, so
which wasn't even enough to get the bag in the
but
game.
I'm saying
and now they're giving you.
no. But my argument though is, I bet you in their messed up currency, that probably is around $15.
Oh, I'm sure, but
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying if we're talking about from a money point of view using their logic.
yeah.
Next you got a Ranger armor outfit, exclusive for members, and then you got unique icons and emotes.
Oh boy.
So realistically, besides the first month, you're just paying for private worlds and atoms, because everything else you get once and you're done.
Yeah.
So I got this. It was $13 a month, or $100 for a year.
Yeah. Which 13 a month would end up being, I think, like 150.
Something like that.
Right?
That sounds right.
Because 12 would be 144.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have the FAQ, by the way, for Fallout 4.
$156.
So here are some FAQs that you appreciate, okay? What is the default rule set for my private world? And can I change it? You know, logical slider questions, right? The rule set, including rewards and drop rates, is the same as adventure mode on a public world and cannot be changed.
That makes sense, though, because it's supposedly an always online
But to me, though,
whatever.
why can't you make a rule set that stays in that private world?
Well, but if it's like, oh, we're going to boost loot sliders,
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing the way that this works, because they apparently have put no effort into this at all, is that what you do in the private world is just tied to your character. So if you made a private world and cranked the loot sliders to give you everything, you could then go into a public world with everything.
But
ruin
okay,
people's
and I
days.
agree with you. But to me, then I would almost do something like you could almost like do a pure isolated private world that you just can't leave stuff out of it.
That would make sense.
That would make sense, wouldn't it? And
Does
which
anything in 76 makes sense?
which again, I'm
No.
gonna stick with the idea that you have to pay for private worlds that are hosted by Bethesda on paper is actually not offensive to me. I think what they're asking is offensive.
Like, paying... That's actually pretty good. Like, if you think about it,
You pay Battlefield.
there are very few games that give you free private
Because that costs.
matches.
Because let's be honest, that costs them some money. It's not free for
Yes.
them. Like that's why I'm not offended by the idea. Because it actually costs them some legitimate money.
Yeah. Like, Call of Duty, I think, is really the big one that it spins up a private server
But they're not.
for you.
But the difference on that one is they're not permanent worlds. They're temporary
Right.
things. That's the big difference on that.
And yeah, Battlefield, you can rent a server and then...
Which we've accepted for years. That's why I'm not offended again by that idea of renting a private server. Because Battlefield, we've accepted it since like the late '90s. That like that's a thing you do.
Yeah, Battlefield, WoW, you name it.
Do I wish
Paying for a private server has always...
Do I wish it was the, like, since it's Fallout and Bethesda's known for modding support, that, like, to me, the correct answer to this would be you should also release the API that lets you host a private instance locally. And then you do all the processing.
They would never let you do that.
Which, again, You should let me.
Well, you should. There's a lot of things they should let you do.
Because all that is at that point is, doesn't actually cost them money then for you to pop it up. All you do is you just do a quick check of the games are all good, and then you're good.
Yeah. I will say though, it makes sense that they don't have mods for 76 because who's to say, like, if you and I played, I would have to mod 76 because I will not accept just a flatly broken game. So I would have to fix it with somebody's public patch. If that gave me a leg up, they're going to be like, of course not. Like, we can't have this happen.
Which is why
we can't let somebody
oh, I agree
fix
with
the
you.
way
But
that
to me,
atoms
then,
drop. Which
on a private world instance point of view, then you should be doing the Minecraft thing
Yeah.
if we could force everyone to have the same mods on the private worlds alone.
even Minecraft doesn't do that.
No, but you can actually add a plugin to your servers that does a force. So to me, that should be the
Well,
default
you
for a thing like this.
You can, I think, the way it works now, because they kind of changed the way that mods on PC work now for Minecraft. I think you can run a server that is hosting, like, is modded.
Yeah.
Like, the instance of that server is modded, but if the player doesn't have that mod pack installed, they won't get all of the use.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's how it works. It used to be you could just hop into a world and you have no idea if there's mods or not. And if you hop into if your instance of Minecraft is modded and you hop into a world, your mods just carry over into the online. So that kind of broke everything, but yeah, you could do that. I mean,
Again, I'm not saying any of this is perfect, but there are for sure ways you could have allowed it.
well, let's look up. Bethesda, Adams, Atomic Shop, maybe?
Sure.
Atomic Shop, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me the exchange rates here.
It's loading. Because even the Fallout website's broken. Like, it's literally just stuck in a loading thing.
Okay.
Buy Adams. Okay, here we go. 4,000 with 1,000 bonus, so 5,000 is $40.
So I was right on my exchange rate, probably, roughly speaking.
Yeah. So 2,400 is $20.
I got it. I have a thing up too. It looks like I was right on the thing. It's like every $100 is around $1, and then you get better deals as you go up, which is about what I thought it would be.
Well, okay, you said it was okay.
You get
so you
16
get 50 extra,
Right.
but it's it would be
It's probably around $15 exchange rate.
yeah.
A little bit.
It's 15.
If you spent more, obviously a little bit worse. But like roughly speaking, if I had to give it a rate, it's $15. Which is the only reason they have the audacity to charge you $10 for this, because of that, or $13 for it. 13 for it, because you get the $15 in items.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. I've never seen a game with a subscription service where they give you the paid currency.
I definitely have. I definitely have.
Maybe this is their
MMOs do that all the
their
time.
thing. Like what?
I think both DCU and Lord of the Rings did that. If you did the subscription,
I never played those.
if you give the subscription, they gave you a set amount of the permanent of that currency. Also, I don't know like the rates on it, but I know they did that.
Yeah. Well, like, I know like WoW doesn't do anything.
But WoW doesn't. But its default is still that, where the other one's default is free to play.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe that's the thing. Like, DCUO, their subscription is a premium service.
Well, yeah.
So of course you're gonna get, that makes sense.
Fallout 76, by the way, is still a $60 game.
Well, you still have to buy it.
Let me
I
phrase
don't
it.
know if it's still $60.
I think it retails. It might still be a retail of $60. I think.
All right,
I'm doing.
I'm going on the PC store.
I'm going to the PlayStation store. I'm seeing if they're any different.
PC download is $24.
I'm checking if there's a sale because it looks like PlayStation's saying 24 also. $40 is its default point. It's on sale right now.
The Tricentennial Edition is $60.
So the default 76 is $40 still.
Yeah. So either way, it's a $40 purchase.
It's still a game. Yeah, it's still a decently full-priced game for this old. Good way of putting it, I think.
Yeah.
To put you in perspective, Fallout 4, which you could argue what you want about it, I think a superior game. Its retail is $30, and at least is a functioning game out the box. Also, 3 years older than it. To put that in perspective,
Fallout first.
I could get you Skyrim the Complete Edition for $40. A better purchase.
So FalloutFirst.com leads you to Fallout Fuck You First.
So it's Fallout.
Which they just. It's FalloutFirst.com.
How do you spell
they
first?
have a-
Like you spell out first?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a. The promo material is Vault Boy holding a first member ticket.
This is first member fucked.
Yep.
With Fallout Fuck You First.
Private World Scrapboxes and more coming, CUMMING, to Fallout 76 with Fallout Fuck You First.
Do you forgetting what's
What's
included
included
behind
behind the Fallout Fuck You First paywall? Private Worlds.
the shitty community has been begging for the ability to play alone in Private Worlds since before the launch of Fallout 76, like a Fallout game should be, and we begrudgingly announce they're coming to a game with Fallout Fuck You First. If you are a Fallout Fuck You First slave, how you use your friends' Private World is completely up to you, as long as we allow it.
With a Fallout Fuck You First membership, you'll also receive a monthly bonus of 1,650 microtransaction points to use in the Atomic Shop on anything you want. Waste all your money on useless Atomic Shop items with the worst value for a money-wasting bundle to date. Time to pay up. Finally, pick up that outfit or icon you've been eyeing, or else we will bill you for it. You deserve it for enduring this game for so long.
Whereas a Fallout 71st Fuck You slave, you have access to exclusive discounts, LOL. In the surprise mechanics...
Discounts in quotes.
in the surprise mechanic shop. So not only are you getting bonus microtransaction points every month, you'll get, quote, discounts on some stupid items to spend your money on. Go with the scrap box. Read the scrap box to everyone. Then we'll get to my favorite. The next one.
Use the scrap box to store all your crafting components so they aren't taking up space in your stash box. Yay, pay-to-win systems. The scrap box has unlimited storage. Wait, what the fuck, seriously? So no need to worry about picking and choosing when it comes to hoarding scrap. I'm actually really starting to get pissed the more I read this shit.
You want this one? The Sex Tent! Dropping the new Sex Tent to quickly set up a forward operating base when you're roughing, semicolon, parenthesis.
Well, it's ellipses,
Oh.
winky smiley face, ellipses.
It out in the wilderness during your next adventure. The Sex Tent comes complete with a stash, sleeping bag, scrap box, quick station, and even an instrument to help you blow hot air up your ass after a day of exploring Appalachia. Once placed, it will also act as a second fast travel point in addition to your main CAMP, giving you even more freedom to travel anywhere in map without spending caps, just your real money. You'll be able to deploy your sextant from your favorites wheel.
You have to go check this out. It's hilarious.
The lazy version of the real outfit. Wait. Icons and emotes packs. Seriously? This is a main feature?
Oh, the description is even better. The Not-So-Ranger armor outfit, player icons, and emotes must be claimed from the Atomic Shop while your Fallout Fuck You First membership is active, because we are too lazy to give it to you automatically. If you cancel your membership after claiming them, you will still have access to them. But then again, how have we been with our previous promises? Tee.
Wait. This stupid ass membership, Fallout Fuck You First, will be available as a 1 month waste your money at membership, or you can purchase a yearly cash burning pile for a 36% quote discount over the monthly waste your money rate as shown as our website. I will not link the scam. If you cancel your slave membership or it expires, you'll still be able to access any microtransaction points you received as well as the resources stored in your scrap box if we don't delete them first. Cancellation will be effective at the end of your current membership or whenever we decide to stop stealing your money. If you click on Become a Fuck You First Member, it's Rick Ashley's never gonna give you up. You just got Rick rolled.
Imagine shoving that 12-fingered hand up your ass. It's okay, this membership will do it for you.
As with everything we do for Fallout 76, we will continue to think of our bleeding bottom line first, ignore your feedback, and improve the pay-to-win services over the months and years to come. So please, shut the fuck up and just take it. Your quote, friends at Bethesda. And if you click, there's a link down there for a donation fee to keep hosting the website. They have currently raised $917 of their $110 goal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, it's thousands and thousands of dollars.
But it's been open for one day.
Yeah, and people are donating in pretty decently sized
That's what I
chunks.
mean, so, like, this will be up for a while. So yeah, it is falloutfirst.com. You have to spell out first.
Which makes sense.
I didn't. That's what threw me off.
So one of the donations is a $100 donation from Matthew Bagnara. And I guess when you donate, you can
Leave a message.
leave messages and put an image.
Mm-hmm.
This guy says, I donated because you're a bloody legend. Hope the money helps keep the site running. Unlike the train wreck that is 76. His image is a meme that says, the community every time Bethesda releases another shit game-breaking update to 76. It's a photo of the goose from Untitled Goose Game holding a knife with peace was never an option next to him.
God. So yeah, Fallout 76. In a great state right now, currently, right?
As a Bethesda fan, how does this make you feel for Starfleet?
So I think we've talked about this before. Part of my issue with the 76 marketing pitch was, and this is gonna be a weird nitpick, but hear me out on this ride, right? They had a team in, I think it's Austin, that made this game, right? That was not called Bethesda Game Studios. 6 months before releasing this game, they renamed them to Bethesda Game Studios and put Todd Howard on that stage. Hear me out. You should have not renamed the team Bethesda Game Studios, should not have put Todd Howard on that stage. Your entire team wouldn't be in the same amount of wreck that you are in, because now everyone blames all of Bethesda versus you could at least point to as a different team.
Well, but if you don't put, like, serious question, if you don't put Todd Howard up there, who do you put up there?
Okay, so maybe you put him up there, but I think renaming him Bethesda Game Studios has had repercussions on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
That's why I think the problem is you shouldn't kept him a different name, or even if you name the team, very clearly define them as someone else. Because I don't care if you put a city name at the end of it. To a layman, they just read BGS and at least understand that term.
Mm-hmm.
You should at least named it something else. Because the issue is,
I also think if they had stuck the early access tag on this,
it'd be a different story entirely also.
have it as a free product with this membership
Oh yeah,
right
if
away.
this was a free game that we defined as early access, I think the conversation on this game would be fundamental difference.
Or $15.
But something, you know what I'm saying? Something that, like, defines what it is better.
Yeah.
But no, I am interested. The thing that gives me more hope for the Starfield and the next Elder Scrolls is they were very clear in the definition of they are not making this game again. And also, it is the main teams working on them. Which,
But it's on the same tech, which is my problem.
Which, okay, but it's not the same problem for me. Asking from my point of view on, like, as the fan who's okay with their products. If you could tell me you're going back to that, and it's not this, and it's your main team working on it, you at least give me a better chance to look at it to see what is it at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference there fundamentally too, is from understanding the differences, it's not the same teams and it's not the same products they're making.
Yeah.
And I think that matters.
Also, I want to go back. It's now been what, a month post Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
How much of what I predicted was going to be in that game is in that game?
What was you predicted? I don't remember what you predicted. You have to help me with that.
I said they're gonna take the worst of everything that came since Borderlands 2, in terms of always online, battle pass, just free to play bullshit.
Actually, it's not then that much. Objective.
Don't they have a? Do they have a battle pass?
No. They have a season pass, but like it's the normal season pass of huge expansions coming out. But that's, I assume it's not what you're talking about.
No.
No, they have the season pass. It is doing more online events than I'm okay with, but like there's stuff we wouldn't have had otherwise. So I don't know if I put it as the same level of negative. Like, am I upset that like this Halloween event's gonna go away in 2 weeks? Yeah, but that's not to me the same level I think as what you're referring to.
No, like events are fine.
Right,
Like,
that's
I'm fine with
that's
that.
why
I
to
mean,
me.
games have done
Right,
that
that's to me.
forever.
Events are annoying because it's me, but not because like it objectively ruins the game or anything on that line.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I mean, hell, GTA
Right.
runs
That's what I mean.
holiday events.
That's what I mean.
like-
So nothing about that to me is offensive in that regard.
no.
They don't have a battle pass, which is, I think, props to them. They have not talked about anything like one either, because they're selling the season pass, but like, I've never found season passes this offensive thing that people have. Because hear me out,
It depends on how they do.
but hear me out, you don't have to buy them.
Yeah.
Most season passes, there are some exceptions, but the bulk majority of season passes were the promise of we're going to make X content, here's the cost, you could always buy them separately down the road, and you could also always buy the season pass for the reduced rate. I don't understand why that's offensive to people. It's just a pre-order.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the offensive nature of those.
Yeah, the only game that really kind of forced you to buy a season pass is Destiny.
But that's a different, I think that's a different beast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a complete, like, Destiny is not a game that you can compare to anything.
I think compared to MMOs is the most apt, and there's still differences there.
Yeah. Well, and there's major differences of, like, there's no monthly membership. There's
Right.
no membership at all.
Which is
I
why,
mean,
to me, when Destiny was like, every year you have to spend $60 to be up to date on the content,
Yeah.
I go, oh, it's still cheaper than any MMO on the market.
Right. Because a $60 one-time purchase is cheaper than $10.
And I could always still do the old shit if I don't care about being up to date.
Yeah.
That's why that's not
I
offensive.
mean, you're gonna lag behind.
No, you are, but if I just a person who goes plays 2 hours a week, I don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You can't do that in those other games in the same way.
Right. So, yeah.
But no, Borderlands then has not had the same things that you predicted in that
Then
way.
Good on you, Borderlands. Still not gonna play it, but good on
But
you.
like the point is though, they actually have been very good on their like I think they're at the same quality bar in their post update stuff or what you expect from a free to play mechanics that they were at in 2, which I don't think 2 ever got really that offensive. Because the most offensive thing,
Not that I can think of.
the most offensive thing 2 did, which I'm on the side this isn't offensive. So they obviously they're big expansions, right? I think they're like $10 or $15. And then they had these headhunter packs, which hear me out, okay? They were like an hour and a half of content. You got a skin and a head, but they were only $3. If I told you any game
Yeah.
for $3 is 90 minutes, that's not offensive.
Mm-mm.
That's what people are upset about. Is I go, hear me out though. They're charging you $3. They're not even charging you like $5 or $10.
Yeah.
So like if we did those, and Borderlands then also has the giant expansions that they promised, I don't think any of that's offensive to me. To me, I feel like that's the right balance of that.
Yeah. You're right.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm right.
For once.
I hate you. So AJ, now that we get into the fun end, you know we have to discuss now. It's time.
I don't know.
It's time to pick our movies. So
Have you ever seen that meme?
I don't think so.
It's the Yu-Gi-Oh! It's time to duel, but then he doesn't finish duel, it speeds up and then just blue screens.
God. Okay, so you know my pitch is gonna be right.
Probably not.
I'll be back.
Oh.
It's up to you. That comes out, I think, literally on the 1st. So, like, it comes
Yeah.
up the day we'll release this episode, or we could do something later in the month. If you want me to pull up the list.
The movie I was thinking for later in the month is Ford vs Ferrari.
Oh, see, I was thinking of Midway otherwise. Okay, I'm pulling up a list now. Okay, so we have Terminator, obviously. Irishman, I think, is too late in the month because I'm not counting the one day in theaters because that's so hard to get tickets to. We have Arctic Dogs, which is still the 1st. Doctor Sleep on the 8th. We said Midway. I'm kind of just going through the big stuff. Charlie's Angels comes out, which I forgot.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I
saw
forgot that's a
preview for that.
thing. Frozen 2. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Those are separate things, by the way. Knives Out is so late in the month. God damn it.
Is that Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood the Tom Cruise one? Or not Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks?
Yeah, it's the...
Okay.
If Knives Out was not November 29th, I would have pitched for it.
That can be our December one.
Oh, God. I have not heard amazing things, but I'm super curious on it. So you don't want to do Frozen 2?
Not particularly.
Okay. Do you want to do Charlie's Angels?
See, here's the reasoning for Charlie.
Because I knew it would cross you. Because hear me out, okay? The cast, Elizabeth Banks, so it's Naomi Scott.
Well, okay,
Kristen
no, just
Stewart.
don't even worry about the cast. There's at least an older Charlie's Angels that we could watch as the old movie.
Mm-hmm.
For Ford vs Ferrari, the only thing I can think of as being the old movie, I guess you could see Rush, but would be Le Mans back in the '60s. I think it was Paul Newman directed the movie.
So just to clarify then, Charlie's Angels, I assume you mean the 2000 Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Not 2000.
Well, yeah, there's multiple options.
That's what I mean, so I'm clarifying. I think the 2000 Charlie's Angels is probably the correct thing you do for an old movie. Which is Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, it stars like Bill Murray.
Or, so the premise of Ford vs Ferrari is the mid-'60s at Le Mans, where Ford creates the GT40 and just completely just destroys Ferrari. It's kind of a documentary,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I could see Rush being our old movie.
That's
Really, we could do any docudrama as our old movie.
That's true. I still like the Charlie's Angels idea, because also I didn't realize too that's considered a sequel.
Oh, is it?
That's what I said! I'm reading stuff right now.
Well, okay, I haven't really paid attention to this Charlie's Angels at all, so I haven't...
So it's Kristen Stewart, like I said, Naomi Scott. I don't know Ella Basinka.
You probably will.
I'm looking at. She was in Room. That was like her only decently big thing. It looks like.
Charlie's Angels. 2019 IMDb.
Naomi Scott, we all know because of Power Rangers,
Cast.
and she was also Aladdin, by the way. I mean, she was Princess Jasmine.
Naomi Scott, Sam Claflin, Kristen Stewart, Elizabeth Banks, Scott, Noah Centineo, Patrick Stewart.
Naomi Scott's a prime example of an actress that went from being no one to I bet you's gonna be someone for the next decent amount of time.
Jonathan Tucker, Jama Husunu, Nate Faxon, Spang.
My vote is the Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so Charlie's Angels 2019 comes out the week end of the 15th, so everyone is aware. So,
Yeah.
so the weekend of the 15th, which is still 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Sounds good. So let's. I'm curious, how. You know what I'm curious is?
Hmm.
How cringy do you think Charlie's Angels 2000 is without seeing it recently?
Oh, cringe factor of 11 out of 10.
Like, okay, hear me out. That or AJ Cody Banks 2, which is more cringy.
Charlie's Angels.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ariana Grande did the soundtrack for the 19 Charlie's Angels. It's got okay, so the title track has got Miley Cyrus and Lana Del Rey.
Of course it does.
Let's see. See full article. It has got Cyrus and Del Rey, Normani, Nicki Minaj, Cash Doll, Kiana Lee, Shaka Khan, Kim Petras, Arlissa, and more. Plus, there's a Donna Summer remix. Okay. The set list is how it's done with Cash Doll, Kim Petras, Alma, and Stefflon Don. Because of course there's a rapper whose name is Stefflon Don. Bad to You with Ariana Grande, Normani, and Nicki Minaj. Don't Call Me Angel, which I guess is the title track.
Don't call.
Eyes Off You with M22, Arlissa, Kiana Lade. Bad Girls remix, Donna Summer. Nobody, Ariana Grande, Shaka Khan. Pantera, great name for a song, by the way. That's by Anita. How I Look on You is Ariana Grande. Blackout is Danielle Bradbury. Got Her Own, Ariana Grande and Victoria Monet, which I believe is Janelle Monae's sister. Charlie's Angels theme, Black Caviar remix, Jack Elliott, Ellen Ferguson. So not a terrible list of people.
I'm gonna be very curious to see how this will stand up.
Better or worse than Ocean's 8?
I'm gonna say better, but we're gonna go with that one.
Also, is there less kind of...
Cringe.
Well, I was gonna say, is there less expectation because Charlie's Angels has always been kind of this, like... Let's call a duck a duck. This is a very sexist franchise.
So I'm very curious how they're gonna try to modernize it, because you know that's gonna be their goal.
Yeah. Whereas Ocean's 8 was like, oh, we're gonna make an all-women Ocean's movie, which could have done perfectly fine.
But that's not what they made.
They leaned way too hard on the oceans, though. Like, the thing that makes Oceans 11, 12, and 13 great, yes, all three of them are great movies, is that the chemistry between everyone in the movie just works. Ocean's 8, it just felt like they were stepping on each other's feet every time somebody was on screen. I think actually the person that did the best was Awkwafina. In terms of, like, not stepping on anyone's feet in a scene. Because it seems like she kind of, not saying it's, you know, she know... The phrase "she knows her place" was in my head. But that's not the phrase that I want. She, like, understands. You know, she's not the lead, so she's not going to try to be the lead. So, yeah.
So it's all gonna. This is gonna be something.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, the best way we could describe this.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think we'd like to thank
Alright.
everyone for joining us this fun episode. Real long episode, actually, compared to recent standards.
2 hours, baby. 2
2
hours, no breaks.
Fucking hours. I didn't pee. Well, maybe I peed a little, but that's besides the point. Remember, you can follow the show at the SWW Show on Twitter. It's anchor.fm/SWW or SWWshow.com. Follow me at Mikey_Maroney. You can follow AJ. I'm sorry, I wrote down the options we have today. Okay, you ready? At the Drunk German. Is that one you like?
I'm more Norwegian than German.
Okay. At Fuck the Vikings. But that one might be from a Bears fan.
Which Vikings?
See, it's really up to you to decide. At He's trying to make us move into those damn Scandinavian countries if we start a company. Or
Actually, those wouldn't be my first choice. But...
Or at the man who refuses to accept he lives in Grand Rapids.
Oh, I don't refuse to accept that I live in Grand Rapids.
Perfect.
It's a great city to live in.
Right. But yeah, we will catch you guys next time. Remember, watch both Charlie's Angels from 2000 and 2019. Bye, y'all.